I think you're still going to be alive when Bitcoin becomes the global reserve currency. Your government is printing money to make its payments on debt and finance out of control fiscal government, and the wheels are starting to really come off. I don't think Bitcoin becomes the main global reserve currency because of some executive decision. I think it happens gradually, like capital flowing into it, as more and more people realize that the wheels are coming off for fiat currencies like the dollar. It's already happening. And I think Bitcoin can end wars or make them short and not drag out into forever wars like Iraq and Afghanistan and Vietnam. And it's looking like Gaza might be, and maybe Ukraine. If fiat currencies collapse and Bitcoin becomes the global reserve currency, you can't print any to fund wars. If they couldn't print money to make bombs and tanks and missiles, everyone would be forced to resolve conflict peacefully. The reason we were able to engage in these forever wars is that we could print dollars endlessly to finance them. Bitcoin is the only true free market system in existence anymore, and you can buy it ahead of most governments. And most people have the opportunity right in front of them to front run governments right now and change the course of your own personal financial future. But only 1 in 10 of us is doing so. Maybe 1 in 5 by the end of 2025, if the surveys hold. As the governments pile into Bitcoin, the price will be driven up, and no government can debase it. Your savings account, it might as well be called a debasing account. By the end of 2025, it'll be worth at least 6% less than at the beginning of 2025, maybe even less. The nihilists will say that I'm an idiot and that Bitcoin as a global reserve currency could never happen, and it's the gateway drug to CBDC, and that they have us in the prison. Every time I talk to these nihilists, I can tell they don't understand Bitcoin at all, since the fatalistic nihilists don't understand that Bitcoin is the way out of the prison. So that's sad, but I can't make anyone take the time to learn. What has happened in the last year for Bitcoin is so bullish that none of us had a thesis big enough for what has actually happened in just the last year. I just keep standing here offering to help teach you that there's a war on for the future of humanity. There's a war of ideas, and you can be on the side of Team Hope. I was listening to Grant Cardone yesterday saying that he wants to quit paying income tax and let them take him to jail because the United States has used it to murder people all over the world his whole 66 years. He's a billionaire, and now 86% of his net worth is in Bitcoin. So for some of us, it's a moral issue. It's a little different and worse than that because printed money funds forever wars, but it's also that our tax receipts don't even cover our own internal expenses, like our Social Security payments every month. We print money into existence, making our children's future the promissory note to kill people all over the world. We and our best friend country together have killed hundreds of thousands of people in Palestine the last 18 months. And we're also bombing or sinking ships or invading in Yemen and Syria and Lebanon. And now looks like Iran. Our new president, who mocked Biden for doing so, saying that he never would, started bombing Yemen in March of 2025. I had trusted and believed him when I voted in 2024. And he's provoking and threatening the Houthis who are standing up against the slaughter of their brothers and sisters in Palestine, who aren't Hamas, their mothers and fathers and children and inhabitants of Gaza. I believe, as foreign as this may sound, we may return to sound money in a digital asset that's grown over 60% a year for 15 years straight. And it's our protection against a future of more and more war paid for by money printing, making you broke. A government can't ban it. Putin would have loved to and stated at a huge investment conference in 2024 that no government can ban Bitcoin. China has tried, and all that's done is drive billions of dollars from China into the US. Plus, last year, a court in China upheld Bitcoin ownership for the people. I and others who've put 1,500 plus hours in are happy to teach you about this incredibly important subject every Wednesday night. This just isn't something that you can afford to ignore. I find most people who've bought some Bitcoin don't understand it at all. They just had FOMO from some of the smartest people they know being invested in it. My elite Wells Fargo private banker said that he had some, but then he quickly admitted that he doesn't understand it. If you buy some, but you don't understand it, you'll just sell it when it goes up 50% and you'll get excited about those gains. Or worse, you'll sell it when it goes down, and it does do that. It is a roller coaster ride. Not everybody hates the volatility. The traders and the pension fund managers love the volatility. But when you sell it because you don't understand it, you'll be right back in the debasing currency if you sell because you don't understand it. So if you think that it's just another asset and you won big if you make 50%, you'll sell right back into the dollars losing value. What if your worldview needs to change a lot more and you need to imagine a future where everything is priced in Bitcoin? Can you imagine going to the grocery store and seeing a price in dollars next to a price in Bitcoin? I know you don't want to spend your free time learning about money when you already spend 40 plus hours a week earning money so that you can have a life the rest of the time. I get that. I didn't either. I was forced into it at first to save my employees' jobs and my own wealth. Michael Saylor and I and other forward-thinking CEOs saw in March of 2020 that the shutdown of the economies put into motion the destruction of the fiat currencies that y'all like to think of as money, and the destruction of small businesses if we didn't get really creative. So the PPP and the ERC handouts for small businesses that we all took in the COVID lockdown kept everybody quiet for a few years. But what now? The trillions of dollars they printed in 2020 and beyond, I've heard from 7 trillion to 20 trillion dollars, are why your dollars now buy you half what they did in 2019. And the money printing is about to turn on again because America is hurting. And frankly, we're doing better than most of the rest of the world. So our dollars are just going to get worth less and less. But the more I learned about Bitcoin, the more intrigued I became. And I wasn't learning because I had to anymore. I was learning because it gave me hope. The more intrigued I became, and I wasn't learning because I had to, I was learning because it was super interesting and it was about reinventing so much of our world. And as Bitcoin grew from a $200 million market cap to $2 trillion, it became de-risked. Watch and wait for it to 10x and 20x from here and potentially eclipse gold in the next several years. Come back in a couple of years and tell me if this aged well or if it aged badly. But the 1,500 plus hours that I've spent learning about Bitcoin was worth it to not lose the savings I've earned. The savings and the investments that I'd set aside from the 100,000 hours plus of advanced education and professional work that I'd done to support my family. So join us. Get out of the matrix. There's another way, and you're not too late to the party. Join my mastermind and come to class every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. You won't be sorry you did.